In the world of modern long-haul aviation, two giants dominate the skies, not just in size but in innovation, performance, and the way they've reshaped the airline industry. On one side, we have the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, a sleek, efficient aircraft born out of necessity and ambition. On the other, the Airbus A350, a bold response engineered with precision and a vision for the future. These two aircraft have changed the way we fly. They're not just jets. They're the embodiment of a new era, one where fuel efficiency meets comfort, where ultra-long-range routes are the new normal, and where passengers arrive less jet-lagged, more refreshed. But which one truly stands out? Which aircraft leads in performance, cost efficiency, technology, and passenger experience? Welcome to the ultimate head-to-head comparison, the Airbus A350 versus the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. In this video, we'll dive into their design, performance, cabin comfort, economics, and real-world airline operations. Whether you're a frequent flyer, a future pilot, an aviation professional, or just a curious traveler, this is your comprehensive guide to the two most advanced commercial airliners flying today. By the end of this deep dive, you'll not only understand how these aircraft differ, but why those differences matter. Let's get started. To understand the Airbus A350 and Boeing 787 Dreamliner, we first need to look back. The story begins in the early 2000s, a time when airlines were demanding more efficient aircraft to tackle rising fuel costs and expanding route networks. Wide-body jets like the Boeing 767 and Airbus A330 had served airlines well, but the future demanded something lighter, faster, and more fuel-efficient. Boeing was the first to act. Initially, they proposed the Sonic Cruiser, a futuristic jet that prioritized speed over fuel economy. But with airlines focused more on operating costs than speed, the Sonic Cruiser was scrapped. Instead, Boeing shifted gears toward efficiency and launched the 787 program, where E stood for efficiency. This would later become the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Boeing promised a 20% reduction in fuel burn compared to similarly sized aircraft. They planned to achieve this by using lightweight composite materials, highly efficient engines, and an advanced aerodynamic design. It was a bold step and a risky one. The Dreamliner was officially unveiled in 2007 and had its first flight in December 2009. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The program faced major production delays, supply chain issues, and safety concerns, especially with its lithium-ion batteries. Still, Boeing pressed on. By October 2011, All Nippon Airways operated the first commercial 787 flight, marking the beginning of a new era in long-haul flying. Airbus initially responded with the A330neo, a re-engined version of the popular A330, hoping to match Boeing's innovation with a cost-effective upgrade. But as the 787 gained momentum and more orders, airlines began pushing Airbus for something more. So in 2006, Airbus launched the A350 XWB, or Extra Wide Body program. Unlike Boeing's complete clean sheet design, Airbus initially planned a modified A330, but pressure from major customers like Singapore Airlines and Qatar Airways pushed Airbus to go further. The result? A brand new aircraft designed from the ground up. The A350 would feature a carbon fiber fuselage, next-gen Rolls-Royce engines, advanced aerodynamics, and, crucially, a wider cabin than the 787. It was Airbus's direct answer to Boeing's challenge, and a critical part of their long-term wide-body strategy. The Airbus A350 made its first flight in 2013 and entered service with Qatar Airways in January 2015. Despite launching later than the 787, it quickly earned a reputation for comfort, efficiency, and long-haul reliability. Airlines around the world, from Cathay Pacific to Lufthansa, Delta, and Singapore Airlines, embraced both jets. The A350 and 787 didn't just coexist, they pushed each other forward. What makes this rivalry so fascinating is that while both aircraft were born from the same airline demands, they took different development paths. Boeing went in early with a clean sheet design. Airbus waited, analyzed, then struck with a technically advanced and slightly larger aircraft. And so, the stage was set. Two modern long-haul aircraft, similar in mission, different in approach. The Boeing 787 and the Airbus A350 would define the next generation of air travel. When it comes to modern airliners, the materials and design philosophies define everything, from how much fuel an aircraft burns to how far it can fly, and even how comfortable it is for passengers on board. In this section, we'll look at how the Airbus A350 and Boeing 787 differ in structure, materials, dimensions, and aerodynamics, and why those choices matter. Let's start with what these aircraft are made of. Both the A350 and 787 represent a turning point in aviation, the shift from traditional aluminum to advanced composite materials. The Boeing 787 Dreamliner was the first commercial aircraft built with more than 50% carbon fiber reinforced polymer, making it a true pioneer. Boeing's goal was to reduce weight and improve corrosion resistance while allowing for greater flexibility in shaping the fuselage and wings. Airbus followed suit, but pushed it a bit further. The A350 XWB's structure is made up of roughly 53% composites. The rest includes titanium, advanced aluminum alloys, and other lightweight metals. Both aircraft achieve significant weight savings, which translates into better fuel economy and reduced emissions. While both aircraft use composite fuselages, there's a key difference in how they're designed. The Boeing 787 uses a barrel section design. Multiple cylindrical sections are built separately and joined together. Airbus, in contrast, uses a panel design, where large flat composite panels are assembled into the fuselage. This affects not only how the aircraft is built, but also how it performs during maintenance, and in terms of structural flexibility. What really stands out here is cabin width. The A350 is wider, by nearly 6 inches, which doesn't sound like much, but in economy class, it allows for slightly wider seats, larger aisles, or different layout options. In economy configurations, this difference often means A350 operators can offer a more comfortable 3-3-3 layout without compromising seat width, whereas the 787, in the same configuration, results in narrower seats, something frequent flyers often notice. Another major difference lies in wing design. Both aircraft feature advanced wings made primarily of composites, but their shapes and flexibility differ. The Boeing 787's wings are instantly recognizable thanks to their dramatic upward flex during flight. This flexibility reduces turbulence impact and improves aerodynamic efficiency. The A350's wings are also composite and feature a unique curved trailing edge with adaptive droop nose technology, improving lift at lower speeds and reducing drag in cruise. The 787 uses raked wingtips to improve fuel burn on long sectors, while Airbus sticks with their signature sharklets, similar in function, but stylistically distinct. Both wing designs reflect a shared goal: maximize lift, minimize drag. The A350 is slightly larger and heavier than the 787, which is reflected in its landing gear setup. For example, the A350-1000 features a 6-wheel main gear bogie, while the 787-9 uses a 4-wheel configuration. This allows the A350 to handle greater takeoff weights and longer ranges with heavier payloads. It also affects which airports each aircraft can operate from, depending on runway strength and gate compatibility. Boeing and Airbus also took different approaches in manufacturing. The Boeing 787 program was one of the most globally outsourced projects in commercial aviation history. Key components like fuselage sections, wings, and tail assemblies were built by suppliers around the world, from Italy and Japan to South Carolina and Kansas. These were then flown to Boeing's assembly sites on specially modified 747 Dreamlifters. While this helped scale production quickly, it also contributed to delays, quality control issues, and early supply chain bottlenecks. Airbus, in contrast, centralized much of the A350's production in Europe. Major components were built in Spain, Germany, and France, and final assembly took place in Toulouse. This helped Airbus maintain stricter quality oversight and reduce logistical complications. So, what can we take away from these design philosophies? Boeing 787, a composite trailblazer using flexible design and global manufacturing to reduce costs and weight.
Its slightly narrower fuselage sacrifices a bit of cabin comfort for lighter construction. Airbus A350, a more refined entry designed after the Dreamliner's launch. Slightly wider, heavier, and longer range, with advanced structural integration and focus on cabin space and efficiency. With their designs and materials laid out, the next question is, how do they perform in the skies? From range to cruise speed to takeoff weight, let's put the A350 and 787 head-to-head in real-world performance.
Design and materials may define a jet's potential, but it's in the air where that potential is tested. How far can they fly? How fast? How much can they carry? In this section, we'll break down the Airbus A350 and Boeing 787 in terms of real-world performance, because in commercial aviation, efficiency isn't just about numbers. It's about what those numbers enable airlines to do. Let's start with cruising speed. Both aircraft are designed for similar long-haul cruise profiles. In everyday operations, both cruise at around Mach 0.85, roughly 560 miles per hour at altitude. While the A350 technically has a slightly higher maximum altitude and cruise speed, the difference is negligible in airline use. What's more relevant is range, because in a world of ultra-long-haul flights, distance is king. Range determines which routes an aircraft can fly without refueling, and it's where these two jets shine. Let's compare major variants side by side. Right away, the A350 has the edge, especially with its ultra-long-range variant, the A350-900 ULR, capable of nearly 18,000 kilometers nonstop. This aircraft operates some of the world's longest commercial routes, like Singapore to New York, over 18 hours in the air. The 787-9 also excels on long-haul routes, but is more commonly used on long and thin routes, like Boston to Tokyo or Nairobi to New York, where capacity needs are modest but range is critical. Maximum takeoff weight, or MTOW, is a measure of an aircraft's structural limits when fully loaded. More weight often means more payload and fuel capacity, critical for airlines balancing cargo and passenger needs. The A350-900, with a higher maximum takeoff weight and greater fuel capacity, offers better payload flexibility over long routes. It can carry more cargo alongside a full passenger load, something especially valuable on intercontinental freight-heavy sectors. The 787, particularly the -10, trades range for capacity. It offers higher seating at the cost of shorter range, making it perfect for high-demand medium-haul routes like Dubai-London or Singapore-Sydney. Despite their size, both aircraft are designed with excellent field performance. The 787, thanks to its lower weight and high lift wings, can operate from shorter runways and less optimized airports. This is part of what makes it so attractive to secondary city pairs. The A350, while slightly heavier, is optimized for long-haul hub operations, frequently flying between global mega-hubs with longer runways and higher infrastructure capacity. The 787 is often praised for opening up new, long and thin routes, connecting smaller city pairs that previously couldn't sustain wide-body service. Meanwhile, the A350 is the flagship of ultra-long-range flying. Airlines use it on high-end premium heavy routes where range, payload, and comfort all matter equally. From a performance standpoint, both aircraft achieve remarkable fuel economy for their size. But fuel burn depends not just on design, it also depends on engines, systems, and real-world airline practices. Now that we've seen how far and fast they can fly, the next question is how efficiently they do it. Let's look under the wings, at the power plants that drive these aircraft, and the technologies that make them among the most efficient in history. At the core of every airliner's performance lies its engines, the complex machines responsible for propelling tons of metal across continents, while balancing raw power with efficiency and reliability. Both the Airbus A350 and Boeing 787 rely on new generation turbofan engines, pushing the boundaries of technology to deliver lower fuel burn, reduced emissions, and quieter operation. But there are key differences in who builds these engines and the technologies they use. The Boeing 787 is powered by two engine options, either the General Electric Gen X or the Rolls-Royce Trent 1000. The General Electric Gen X is designed as an evolution of the successful GE 90 series used on the 777. It features a 112-inch fan diameter and offers a bypass ratio of about 10-to-1. It also emphasizes fuel efficiency, reduced emissions, and lower noise. In comparison, the Rolls-Royce Trent 1000 is a newer design specifically for the 787. It has a slightly larger fan, 111 inches, with a bypass ratio around 10-to-1, whilst incorporating new materials and cooling technologies. It did, however, face some early reliability challenges, but has improved significantly through upgrades. Airlines often choose engine suppliers based on maintenance networks, regional support, and previous experience. Both engines offer comparable performance with subtle differences in fuel burn and maintenance costs. The 787's engines are optimized for high bypass ratios, meaning most of the air bypasses the combustion chamber, improving efficiency and reducing noise. Fuel burn improvements come from advanced materials like ceramic matrix composites, CMCS, in turbine blades and shrouds, which allow higher operating temperatures without sacrificing durability. Both engines are designed to reduce specific fuel consumption by about 15 to 20% compared to previous generation engines, contributing to the 787's overall 20% fuel savings versus older aircraft. The Airbus A350 exclusively uses the Rolls-Royce Trent XWB, one of the most powerful and efficient commercial engines ever built. The Trent XWB is a true workhorse, powering all A350 variants with thrust ratings ranging from 75,000 to 97,000 pounds. With a bypass ratio around 10-to-1, it combines the latest aerodynamic designs, advanced cooling systems, and lightweight composite fan blades. Rolls-Royce has focused on durability and low maintenance intervals, resulting in impressive dispatch reliability and lower operating costs for airlines. Both aircraft are headline leaders in fuel efficiency. Depending on configuration and route, they achieve fuel burn reductions in the 20 to 25% range compared to previous generation aircraft like the Boeing 767 or Airbus A340. But the A350, with its slightly larger size and newer engine design, often edges out the 787 in fuel burn per seat, especially on longer sectors. The 787, however, shines on medium to long haul routes, where its slightly smaller size matches demand perfectly, helping airlines avoid flying empty seats. Noise regulations have tightened worldwide, and both aircraft have made great strides to reduce their acoustic footprint. The 787's engines incorporate chevrons, serrated edges on the engine nacelles, which reduce noise by smoothing airflow mixing between bypass and core exhaust streams. Similarly, the Trent XWB on the A350 is designed with advanced noise-reducing liners and fan blade shapes that keep it quiet enough to meet the strictest airport regulations globally. Combined with better fuel efficiency, these engines help reduce carbon emissions, making both jets greener options for airlines. Engine reliability and maintenance are crucial for airlines' operating costs. While the 787's Trent 1000 initially had some reliability hiccups with turbine blade wear, improvements and modifications have largely resolved these issues. The Trent XWB, being a newer design, benefits from lessons learned across Rolls-Royce's engine family, boasting excellent service intervals and low unscheduled maintenance. General Electric's GE9X has a strong track record for reliability, supported by a global maintenance network. In summary, both the A350 and 787 leverage cutting-edge engines designed to maximize fuel efficiency, reliability, and environmental performance. The 787 offers airlines flexibility with two proven engine choices, balancing efficiency and operational cost. The A350 relies on the Rolls-Royce Trent XWB, a purpose-built powerhouse that pushes the limits of efficiency and power for larger long-haul operations. Together, these engine programs underscore the aviation industry's commitment to greener, quieter, and more cost-effective flight. We've talked about design, performance, and engines, but what about the passenger experience? Next, we'll step inside these aircraft to see how Airbus and Boeing shape comfort, cabin environment, and in-flight amenities. In today's aviation world, passenger comfort is more important than ever. Airlines compete not just on price or schedule, but on how passengers feel at 30,000 feet. The Airbus A350 and Boeing 787 both boast revolutionary cabin designs, advanced environmental controls, and innovative features aimed at making long-haul flying less tiring and more enjoyable. First, let's look at the space passengers actually experience. The A350's cabin is noticeably wider, about 1.5 feet more, allowing airlines to fit wider seats or slightly wider aisles in a 333 economy layout. This can mean the difference between feeling cramped or comfortable on a long flight. Boeing's 787, while narrower, makes excellent use of the space. Airlines often configure it in 333 layouts, but seats tend to be slightly narrower, sometimes as little as 17 inches, which is tight for longer flights.
One of the most celebrated passenger benefits of both aircraft is improved cabin environment. Thanks to their composite fuselages, both the 787 and A350 can maintain a lower cabin altitude, around 6,000 feet, compared to 8,000 feet on older jets. This reduces passenger fatigue and headaches. Additionally, these aircraft can maintain higher humidity levels, up to 15 to 20%, helping prevent dry skin and dehydration during long flights. Both aircraft use LED mood lighting systems that can simulate natural daylight cycles, helping passengers adjust to time zone changes and reducing jet lag. The 787's signature blue mood lighting and quiet cabin are well known, but the A350 also excels, featuring ultra-quiet engines and noise insulation that make the cabin serene even during takeoff and landing. The passengers frequently report both aircraft as noticeably quieter than older wide-body jets. Beyond economy, both jets offer airlines flexible cabin configurations to suit different markets. Business class. Both the A350 and 787 typically feature lie-flat seats with direct aisle access. The A350's wider cabin sometimes allows for 1 to 2 to 1 seating in business, providing more privacy. Increasingly popular, both aircraft can accommodate premium economy sections with wider seats and more legroom, appealing to price-sensitive travelers seeking extra comfort.
Behind every aircraft purchase decision is a complex web of economics, operational costs, maintenance, route fit, and fleet commonality. While passengers focus on comfort and performance, airlines balance these factors to maximize profitability. So how do the Airbus A350 and Boeing 787 stack up in terms of operational costs and airline preferences? Both the A350 and 787 come with hefty price tags, reflecting their advanced technology and size. As of recent estimates, a new Boeing 787-9 has a list price of roughly $280 million, while the Airbus A350-900 lists closer to $317 million. Actual prices vary widely due to discounts, purchase volumes, negotiations. Financing options, lease rates, and availability also influence airline decisions. Smaller carriers often prefer leasing 787s for their flexibility and lower upfront costs. Fuel is the single largest expense for airlines, often accounting for 30 to 40% of operating costs. Both aircraft deliver significant fuel savings compared to older generation jets, roughly 20 to 25% better fuel efficiency. The A350's larger size and more powerful engines offer excellent fuel burn per seat on long-haul routes, giving it an advantage on ultra-long sectors. The 787's smaller variants fit well on medium to long routes, offering airlines the ability to right-size capacity and optimize yields. Maintenance costs are a key factor in total operating cost. The 787, being the first major airliner with a composite fuselage, faced early teething issues, particularly with the Trent 1000 engines and certain electrical systems. However, Boeing and suppliers have made continuous improvements. The A350 benefits from lessons learned on the 787 and incorporates more mature composite manufacturing techniques, contributing to fewer unscheduled maintenance events. Rolls-Royce's Trent WB engine on the A350 is praised for long service intervals and high reliability. Airlines also consider fleet commonality, how easily pilots, cabin crew, and maintenance teams can transition between aircraft. Both the A350 and 787 feature modern, glass cockpit designs with large touchscreen displays. The Airbus A350 and Boeing 787 are the flagships of modern long-haul aviation. But the story doesn't end here. Both manufacturers are pushing the envelope further, developing upgrades, exploring new technologies, and preparing for an industry increasingly focused on sustainability. Airbus has hinted at possible stretch variants beyond the A350-1000, potentially named the A350-1100, to compete with the largest long-haul aircraft like the Boeing 777X. Such versions would offer increased seating capacity and range while incorporating incremental improvements in aerodynamics, materials, and avionics. Airbus also continues to enhance the Trent XWB engines with newer components to improve fuel efficiency and reduce emissions further. Boeing is investing in continuous improvements for the 787, including software upgrades, engine enhancements, and weight-saving measures. Looking beyond, Boeing's rumored new midsize airplane, NMA, sometimes called the 797, aims to fill the gap between narrow bodies and large wide bodies, offering next-generation efficiency for 220 to 270 passengers. While not a direct successor, it reflects the evolving market needs that the 787 helped identify. Sustainability is the driving force behind future aviation innovation. Both Airbus and Boeing are committed to integrating sustainable aviation fuels, SAF, to lower carbon footprints. Long-term, hybrid electric and hydrogen propulsion are being explored, though full commercial implementation remains years away. The A350 and 787 are seen as stepping stones, proving the viability of composites, advanced aerodynamics, and fuel-efficient engines. Digital technologies play a key role in future operations. Both aircraft are equipped with advanced health monitoring systems that use real-time data to predict maintenance needs, optimize fuel use, and enhance safety. This shift toward predictive maintenance reduces downtime and operating costs, increasing reliability. Passenger expectations continue to evolve, with demands for better connectivity, personalized entertainment, and more sustainable travel options. Manufacturers are working to incorporate smart cabin technologies that tailor lighting, temperature, and services to individual passengers. In the coming decades, the A350 and 787 will remain key players in global aviation, evolving with technology and market demands. Their success underscores the importance of innovation, balancing efficiency, comfort, and sustainability. As the industry advances, these aircraft families represent a bridge to a cleaner, smarter, and more connected future of flight. Thank you for joining this detailed comparison of the Airbus A350 and Boeing 787. Whether you're an aviation enthusiast, industry professional, or curious traveler, these aircraft symbolize the cutting edge of modern air travel. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on future aviation content. Feel free to share your thoughts and experiences with these incredible aircraft in the comments below.